5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Jim George is here, Professor Gadget. I'm so glad I live in a time when gadgets are not made out of leather straps. And where's Jim?
Save on dry cleaning.
If you have a question about your iPhone, your smartphone, your computer, your cable, your home entertainment system, Jim George is the guy to come to, not only on the air, but also at his business. Remember, he's the owner of two businesses, American Cable Services and, what's the other one again?
Media in Motion.
Media and in Motion. Media in Motion.
Media in Motion.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Good morning.
And Doug said he was going to look for you the other day and he couldn't find your. I said, there's no sign. I said, a successful business always has no sign. You don't need a sign if you're a
Exactly.
Well, actually, we do have a Media in Motion sign out front, and it's quite prominent. In other words, it's a rather large, like I'd say 5 feet by 5 feet.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's not difficult to find, but it's right across the street from CTAE. Mm-hmm. But when I say across the street, it's just east of it, not north of it.
Okay.
So north of it is the clock tower where you have,
Right.
Mm-hmm. East of it, it's a school board where they have the two towers. Mm-hmm. We're right in that compound. In that compound.
And that's good to know for everybody because you really do fix computers. And what else do you do there?
Well, we mostly do networking.
Okay.
In other words, like repairing servers and helping doctors' offices and small businesses make their networks work. Like you have a network here.
Do we have a server here?
You have a server here.
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When this is political mixed with technology, all these stories that say Hillary Clinton had her own server, that's what that means? That she had like a little box and she had a Hillary.com or something like that?
You can do that. Like I have my own server. It's americable.us. So my email is jgeorge@americable.us. So, excuse me, that server is not necessarily present in my office. It means that I have a presence on a large server somewhere else. But it's my URL. It's my www, in other words, my URL.
Right.
It's my presence. I think she actually had a physical server.
Physical piece of equipment.
Right.
Okay. So, now we have RobinandTheGiant.com.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
WOCA has WOCA.com.
Right.
Does that mean we have servers?
You do. Your presence is on a server.
Okay. But we don't own
You may.
anything.
You may. We used to. I used to have Americable on my own server. But what happened was the Amazons of this world and a couple of other companies said, you can host that on our site for like $14 a year. And I'd say, fine, host it. Why? Because since they have servers,
Right.
Anybody from any part of the world trying to get to me easier through their servers.
Oh, okay.
Then to try and get through their servers and then try and find my little servers somewhere. In other words, my presence is on their site.
Okay, all right. So that.
Yeah.
See, and I never really knew what the word server even meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really understood it, but
As our .com works. That's what I like
so do
to
some
know.
doctors' offices have everything right there in their office?
Right in their office. And then some of the times they will store all their records off-site on somebody else's server. So what happens is, let's assume there was a fire in a doctor's office and all of his records were destroyed, including his server, his computers. They were all destroyed.
Right.
All the records are stored off-site somewhere else.
So he can still have them.
Right. So every time he hit enter or click or whatever he did, not only was the presence showing up on his in-house server, it was showing up on Amazon server or somebody else's server that he contracted for to have it stored.
Well, all this stuff I've been going through with my leg, I don't know if I've shared a whole lot with you, but because you actually gave me some advice that worked with the supplements. And I don't want to get into that, but how it applies to what you're talking about. When I first went, Robin convinced me to go to the emergency room. It really was hurting bad. Long story short, they took care of the urgent need, and now I'm going to a regular doctor. Well, the regular doctor, I didn't have to bring in a folder. I didn't have to bring in any X-rays. I didn't have to bring in any, what did they do that? Sonogram? Whatever, the ultrasound. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to bring in that stuff. It was all on his computer. He had it all already.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yeah, because it's stored on a central computer, and then the doctors, through permission, access it. Yeah, no, the technology today is really unbelievable what you can do with it. Unbelievable. Hey, I brought in a little gadget today.
What'd you bring?
So, a lot of times when you have a cable system, like in your home even, the signal coming into your house is the right level to make everything work if you have one or two locations. Because if you put a two-way splitter, then you're literally, splitting the signal in half.
Okay.
If you put in a four-way splitter, you're splitting the signal by 4 ways and so on and so forth. Some of the homes have 8, locations.
Are you splitting the signal when you share the Wi-Fi?
You are, but I was going to explain even splitting the signals in RF, in other words, coax cable-wise, isn't cutting it in half. In other words, if you had 10 units of signal coming into your home and you put it to a two-way splitter, a two-way splitter has a known loss of 3.5. So each leg is 6.5. So although you split it, you didn't cut it in half.
Okay.
All right, and 8-way splitter the same way. So this is a house amp that I had made for me. As you can see, I had it made for me about 25 years ago.
Wow.
But I have my own amplifier, and so it can mount on a shelf. It can mount against the wall.
Show it to the camera. Let's see. Okay. Just
All right.
is a bunch of knobs?
No,
What
these
does it
are
do?
ports.
Oh, okay.
So the coax connectors.
Oh, I see. Those are coax.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're so brand. I've had it so long, they're actually hard to get off.
Okay.
But the beautiful part is you have low signal at your house. The cable comes in. You have 8 locations that you can feed simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
You have a power port, which is fed by a little wall wart. In other words, you plug this
wall
in.
wart, okay.
Yeah, and then the coax comes in there. And you have a modem port. Now, the beautiful part about a modem port is you do not want to amplify a signal going to a modem, because the modem doesn't need a whole lot of signal to work. Matter of fact, it needs
Okay.
the less.
Okay.
So this is a port dedicated just for the modem to go into.
Okay.
So a person that has low signal, snow in their house or whatever, they put that in and there they
Snow
go.
in their house.
The picture looks snowy.
Oh, okay.
Or it pixelates.
Okay.
The signal breaks up, low signal. This is an amplifier. And I think I just pulled this out of storage the other day. These are like $35, so they're not expensive. Anyway, that's the beautiful part of it.
And you have different numbers on the side with a check mark on the box. You have a DA158P plus. What are the other
Right.
two?
Well, I've settled on just one model alone, and what it means, it's a digital amplifier, DA. It's 15 dB of gain.
What does that mean?
Whatever signal you put into it, 15 more than that comes out.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's an 8-port, and that's what the 8P is about.
Oh, okay.
The other units up here, where it says DA15-2, that means it's a two-way amplifier. And you do not want to amplify two-way when you have a modem. The modem itself can put out like 60 units of signal. You don't want to amplify that. So you don't want to amplify the return.
Okay. So if you had one of those boxes that you just showed us,
Right.
you would have in your house, let's say, that would be located like in
Wherever the signal comes in.
a central location,
Right.
like our technical room back
Exactly.
here.
Or even mounted outside.
Oh, really? That could be outside.
Yes, it could be mounted outside.
And then each of those wires, like what, would trails through the ceiling or something, and then comes out
Yes.
in another room? Oh, wow.
Yep,
So you can have
exactly.
eight different TVs,
8 different TVs,
all connected to the same.
all connected to the same source.
Wow.
Wow.
With no
Nice.
loss, actually a gain.
Gosh.
And you sell them over at your place?
We do.
$35.
$35.
That's a cool deal. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right
Thank
back.
you.
If you have any questions for Jim, the number is 622-9622. We'll give you Jim's number as well on the other side of the break.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Friday will be bright and sunny and beautiful with low humidity, the high 74 to 78. Clear Friday night and quite comfortable, low 51 in a few inland spots, 58 at the coast. Saturday, sunny and becoming a bit warmer, high 79 at the coast, 83 inland. For Sunday, mostly sunny and even warmer, high 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
The 5 Points of Life Foundation is hosting a golf scramble at Adena in Ocala Friday, May 20th. So get your foursome together and take part in this high-class event at the best and most exclusive golf course in the Southeast. Limited space is available, so visit 5pointsoflife.org or call 352-224-1728 to register your team today. Life South Community Blood Centers. This incredible tournament boasts one of the best player gift packages in the area. The 5 Points of Life Golf Tournament, Friday, May 20th at Adena. The 5 Points of Life, creating the donation generation.
April showers bring May flowers, but May is easily the most special month for Palm Garden of Ocala. Nurses Week is May 2 to 6, and we have award-winning nurses and CNAs taking care of our precious residents. National Nursing Home Week begins on Mother's Day and is filled with special events. May is the perfect month to come visit before our services are needed. Palm Garden Rehab is located on the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA.
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Jim George is here. Professor Gadget, Joe Martone joining us, it looks like. Good morning, Joe. How you doing? You're not joining us?
No.
Got a new tooth?
Teeth.
Can you pick up radio signals now?
I'll let you know.
Was there ever any truth to that? Was there any truth to?
Yes, the chemicals they used in the first fillings, because of their compound, would actually, when the saliva in your mouth, the acid, would create like a battery and like a signal, and you could hear things, and you'd wonder, where's that coming from?
Oh, wow.
People thought they were going crazy.
Is that right? Did I ever tell you this story? When I worked at WETMC, we had lightning strike the tower, and the engineer was not there, and we were off the air, and he said, well, go back and tell me what you see. So I went back. Robert and I both went back. It was still raining. Not thundering anymore, but it was still raining. And all right, at the bottom, just to describe this for you, probably already know what it looks like, but for the listeners, there was like a iron ball and another iron ball, and they were about maybe an inch apart from one another. Mm-hmm. And the signal literally would jump between the two balls, right. And that's how we got from the little. There was a little shack back there with equipment in it. And that's how it got from the shack up the wire to the antenna.
Okay.
So that people could hear us. Well, the lightning busted the top ball in half, mm-hmm. And so it was no longer close enough to the bottom ball. But it needed to be knocked over a little bit. So he told me, the engineer said, take a hammer, mm-hmm. gently knock it, and have a radio so when you start hearing it, you'll know that it's working. I said, okay, and he'll fix it when it gets there. All right, so I'm knocking it, and it's still raining, and the water, now when it's over it, where it's the right place, the water is dripping between the half ball, the half sphere, whatever, and the bottom one, which was whole. Every time water dripped, it made a spark, and you could hear us talking.
That was cool.
Because there was a show going on with our voices. It was recorded.
The coolest
Every
thing.
time the show, you hear Robin. You hear Robin. Every time it's like, holy cow! You can hear us in the spark.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
That is actually called a spark cap.
Oh,
and it's there on purpose to keep the lightning from making a hard contact with the equipment.
And I guess it worked.
It did.
But it broke that ball. Have you ever seen that? It's just
I have. Those are old-timey things now. Now they have gas discharge tubes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they.
See, I looked all over for the other half. It was nowhere. Wherever it popped off, it must have flew
Yep.
far away.
Or dissipated.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Literally disappeared?
Yeah, just dissipated.
All right, we have a phone call. All
right.
Thank you for calling and waiting. You're on the air with Jim.
Yes, good morning. That was a very interesting story. Good thing the lightning didn't hit you while you're fooling around out there.
Oh, man. And there was what do you call those black widow spiders in that
Yeah,
shack?
yeah.
Oh, it was horrible.
We are high tech,
It
let me
was
tell you.
really scraping the bottom of the radio world, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We've come up one rung since then.
You should be getting hazard pay, Larry.
That's right.
Hey, when you're in an airplane and you're on the ground, you can use your cell phone. You can call anybody anywhere. Where my wife works, there's a metal roof where she works, and to get a hold of me or anybody, she's got to go out in the parking lot. And that building isn't surrounded by metal. What's going on there?
Yeah, well, the metal roof will stop the signal from reaching you with the cell phone because of for one reason, the frequency at which the cell phone works at. So the metal roof is a shield. It's shielding the signal from coming in. The company she works can put in a cell phone booster. I've done a lot of centers here in Ocala, some of them which require 2 antennas because the building is so large. That receives the outside signal and then amplifiers inside and then a repeater inside. So the signal hits the antenna outside, comes in, gets amplified, and then goes to these other antennas inside the building which radiate it. And so no matter where you are in the building, you can get AT&T, you can get Verizon, because the amplifiers amplify all signals, not just one.
How come you can get a signal and call out when you're in an airplane and you're surrounded by metal?
Well, it's different type of metal, too. For one thing, it depends how high you are. If you're at 30,000 feet, chances are you may not get a signal. Because
I don't think you're supposed to use your phone after you take off.
I know, but there are people who
on the landing strip.
Right, but that's the reason why. Now, the planes today are starting to put Wi-Fi inside their planes, and so they have an amplifier. They're doing the same thing. They're receiving the signal. They're using the shell of the aircraft as the antenna, you might say, but directing the beam to a known antenna that is made for that frequency, and then it's amplified and so on and so forth. But no, metal roof will stop cell phone.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Yes.
So what exactly is airplane mode then? When you put your phone on airplane mode when you go on the plane?
That's so it won't radiate. What happens is your cell phone's trying to constantly contact the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Trying constantly. If you were in a site that had little or no cell service, and within a half an hour, your cell phone's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to contact the tower, and it's not doing it. The battery runs down. But if you're in a site that has good cell service, your battery might last 2 days.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's not trying to constantly contact the tower. Now, that's a
Oh.
good question to ask Matt Wilkerson when he comes in, because he's more up on the 4G and 5G than I am. But I know at my house, my wife's cell phone is constantly going off, trying to contact the tower. Mine is not.
Wow.
Do you know, I was watching this video about a bomber that crashed into the Empire State Building back in the 40s, I think. And the conversation that people were having afterwards was interesting, because they were saying they had to send police officers down to the subway to say, don't come to this part of town. We've got fire engines all over the place.
Okay.
Don't come up here. Don't come up here. And then somebody said, too bad we didn't have cell phones back then. We could have just called everybody or done a reverse 911.
Right.
Okay. Then the other person said, there's no subway. You can't even use your cell phone in the subway today. There's no signal down there. So I guess they haven't. I mean, shouldn't that be? Wouldn't you
Sure,
think,
cell phone repeater.
Wouldn't you think at this point in technology we would have that?
Sure, they should have put cell phone repeaters in. Yep, exactly. All it does is take the signal from the outside, bring it in, and amplify it. So your cell phone sees the signal, and then, of course, it's a two-way amplifier. So when they hit send, it goes back out again.
So what would it be, on the train, literally on the train?
It would be in the tunnel.
In the tunnel. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. So speed doesn't matter then when you're moving?
No, because the signal travels faster than you and I can travel.
Oh, okay.
Everything travels faster than me.
All right, that's
But
good to know.
But there is a place on 42nd Street or Osceola Boulevard, whatever all those different numbers they call it, where
It's dead, yeah.
it's a dead zone. I mean, it doesn't look like you're dipping that much, but I guess it's just a little bit, and then all of a sudden my cell phone goes off, and I got to wait till I get past 27th
Well,
Avenue.
the engineers try to put the cell phones in such a position that they overlap, but sometimes they couldn't get a LAN spot that was adequate, so the signals overlap. So as you go from one cell tower to the other, your cell phone just keeps going.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just drops. If you're going to Gainesville, there's a certain location just the other side of Gainesville that totally dead. So I know I'm coming up to it, and I say I'm going to drop you in a few minutes. And sure enough, I get dropped,
Oh, really?
and then I call them back.
Gosh.
Yeah, that one, just a dead zone.
Does it ever happen with TV, reception and things like that?
Well, yeah, that's why they have in the TV they have something called the DMA, Direct Marketing Area, and basically it's about 100 miles, more like 85, but we'll say 100 miles from the tower. So you're in that DMA, so you should receive it within that site. But yes, if there's a building in front of you or a heavy tree, a lot of tree groves, the signal goes away.
So I wanted to ask you this. Years ago, when I would go camping, I had this little tiny TV. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now the VHS, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Signals are gone.
Very high frequency are gone.
Oh, VHF. Okay, it's all gone. And I was wondering, and you were telling us that there are still TV signals out there.
Right.
It's just a different thing.
UHF, ultra high frequencies.
So can I buy a little TV, whether for camping or just for my kitchen table or for anything?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And get a program?
How come I don't see them for sale anywhere?
Well, what they do now is they have the antennas, like we had the gentleman from Ken's Antenna in here.
Right.
The antenna down converts it to a frequency your TV can use. You don't have to buy
So I'd
it.
have to have the antenna. I couldn't just have something the size of an old transistor radio, because my old one was like the size of a transistor.
No, you can, but if you bought a small set today, that tuner is built into it. You won't have to buy anything.
Oh, like in the old days. You just put
Yes.
up the antenna and you have a signal.
Right. I'm just saying if you still have the old one, you'd have to have a D to A digital to analog converter. There are no longer any analog channels out there to speak of. They're now going all digital. So if you had an old one, it wouldn't work.
Oh, that's fascinating.
You would not have the tuner would not have the capacity to convert it. But if you got one of something made for it, maybe Best Buy sells them, everybody sells them. It's a D to A, a digital analog converter.
And that's what's on top of RVs when you see them parked at the RV parks.
That's it. They pick up the satellite signal or the signal in the air, and they convert it to a frequency your TV can use.
Really?
No, you can
Because
get
it's not
one
made
for
for your
tent.
TV.
Well, look, I just Googled it. It's a 7-inch LCD TV, $59.99 at Walmart. So I guess, okay. I just never looked, I guess.
there you go.
I need to look. All right, before we say goodbye, I want you to tell about that box again, because I think a lot of people would want to buy that.
Okay, well, it's a small amplifier. It's basically 5 inches by 3 inches and maybe 1.5 inches thick. And it's weatherproof. You could put it outside. It's got a little LED light that shows it's got power on. And it allows you to have up to 8 different locations in your house.
8 different TVs.
Yeah, plus a special port for your modem. So if you were in Larry's house and he had 8 TVs, but he has Cox Cable giving him his high-speed internet, there's a special port for the internet. All in one.
Go to Jim's place and check it out. And ask questions when you get there. What's your
And the
phone number?
sign is Media in Motion.
Media in Motion is what the sign is.
Yeah, 854-9795.
And the address?
1137 Southwest 7th Road.
Call us if you need that repeated. We'll be glad to do that for you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Always interesting stuff. We'll be right back.
Fox Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The number of jobs created in April, much less than expected.
160,000 new non-farm payroll jobs created last month. The unemployment rate remaining at 5%. Job creation was revised slightly downward for February and March by 19,000 jobs, but the silver lining in this report is wage growth, which rose by 0.3%.
Peter Barnes with the Fox Business Network. Donald Trump pushing back against some in his own party who aren't backing him.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says he doesn't feel ready to endorse Trump, but he did tell CNN he wants the Republican Party to come together.
And I think the bulk of the burden on unifying the party will have to come from our presumptive nominee.
Trump told Fox and Friends he was surprised by what Speaker Ryan said.
Many other people were surprised by it, and some were really surprised by it and not happy about it.
Trump says he has many endorsements.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. Fox News, we report, you decide.
When you pick up an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set for $19.99 at Napa, you're not just getting 26 beautiful chrome-plated instruments. You're getting something that shows the world if there's a problem, you've got 26 ways to tackle it. That's $19.99 for a 26-piece screwdriver set and 26 ways to show you're the man for any job that requires